Hello everybody, welcome to VGUGaming. I'm your host as normal, Don the Expert of Coles from VideoGamesUncovered.com, and today we're having a look at Hawken. Oh boy do I love Hawken, and I'm really happy to show you this today. If you don't want to see any of the behind the scenes stuff and you just want to get to the gameplay, I'll be sure to put an annotation on screen for you guys to click to immediately go straight to the gameplay stuff. But if you don't want to check out the gameplay just yet, hold on tight, because I'm going to give you a look through what some of the behind the scenes things are in Hawken. So as you can see here, I have 4 mechs available to me in my garage. I have my Grenadier class mech, which I've called the MT2 Belial Buster. We have the Sharpshooter and the Technician that are test drivable for this week. What they normally do is they rotate what mechs you can have for test drives every other week, so that you get to try out every single mech. From what I understand as well, as you can see here, you can level up your mechs. From what I understand, when it comes to 3 weeks, whenever you play as a specific mech, your level carries across to the next. So generally, let's say for example I got my Sharpshooter up to level 5, but then the week came to a close and I couldn't play as the Sharpshooter until I bought him. When you buy the Sharpshooter, or when the Sharpshooter comes around next time, it will automatically be at the last level of which you played it at, which is really great. I love how it actually keeps that in check. So that's the Sharpshooter. This is the Technician, which is more of a medic class of the game. And then this is the mech that you normally start out with, which is the Recruit class, but I've renamed mine the X-Plow Mark 1. Now, I'm going to introduce you guys to the customization options of the mechs that you can have in Hawken. First things first, you can change around primary weapons. So in my case, I can either go in with an assault rifle for good mid to short range combat, or submachine gun for very close combat. Or when I hit level 25, I can purchase myself the Point D Vulcan. And I've seen this bad boy being played in game. Oh baby, I can't wait to touch that. Trust me when I say it. So as primary weapons, we have offensive and support items that you can use in-game to either deal damage or support your team. Offensive items, well, they basically do what they say on the tin. They do something offensive. So you have things like the detonator, HE charges that just do straight up damage, rocket turrets and machine gun turrets to pin down enemies in strategic locations, or EMPs. EMPs are incredibly underrated in my opinion and are very, very good, because you can just rush into a group of enemies, EMP replace, all the enemies are basically shut down and can't use their weapons, it can only boost places, and that's where you can easily take down an entire team. So be careful of anyone using EMPs. Then you also have support items. These are items you can use that might not necessarily just benefit yourself, but also benefit the entire team that you're playing with, such as blockades that can block some specific routes, shields that can block specific weaponry, holograms that projects a copy of yourself to confuse opponents, repair charges that can help heal you, portable scanners that can help detect enemies, and radar scramblers that can stop you from being detected. As well as that, we also have countermeasures. Countermeasures are usable abilities that you can use in the game that can be refilled with the currency that you get within game as well. So in this case, I can go in with an extinguisher that can cool down my systems, a battery charge will automatically buff up my systems again if I'm hit with an EMP, and a D-scrambler to make sure that any radar scramblers become null and void as they come out on the field. So there are countermeasures that counter certain offensive and support items, so keep that in mind. So some people might just counter your abilities. Then down here we have passive parts of your mech. You have radiators, cages and regulators. These 3 have a wad of upgradable choices to them. If I go to the radiator for example, you can see I can have a radiator, I can have heat sinks, cooling units, weapon loaders, armor piercing munitions, and even more over here. But keep in mind, all of these not just give you a buff such as weapon heating or more damage or more rate of fire, but they always give you a debuff as well to balance it all out. So in some cases you'll be moving faster, in other cases in some cases you'll be moving faster, but you won't deal as much damage. Some cases you're doing tons of damage, but your armor will be decreased because of that. it's something to keep in mind, but it also makes sure that you can basically pick what you want to suit your playstyle, which is very good. Here in the upgrades list, you can have a check on what level your mech is and what you can look forward to in the future of your mech. So I've been getting optimization points, which I'll go into in a second, and also stuff like alternate item, equipment unloaded, or weapon switching. Weapon switching is very nice because that now means that on the fly I can switch between either having my assault rifle or my submachine gun on my mech in a match, which can come very handy. And of course, every single mech can go up to level 25, and when you get up to level 25, that's normally when you can unlock your ultimate weapon for that class. Over here, the body shop, this is where you can spend real life money, known as meteor credits, on customizing your mech. Now I must say, when it comes to meteor credits, you get a lot of value for your meteor credits. If I put this into an example, I customized this mech and changed it from how it was with a tenner, and that £10 included these parts that I have for this mech, the parts I have for my Grenadier class mech, and also buying the Grenadier class mech outright. So the tenner basically went towards a mech and all the customization options I wanted to make my mechs look exactly how I wanted them to look, which is perfect. I generally, value for money, cannot complain there. It's really well balanced and really well put together, so it's great. Over here in styles, you can have mech taunts, which I think are absolutely brilliant. So things like that just happened, where you just give a bow, it's in the bag, where you can teabag, or the rooster. Some of the best things you can do in a game, just taunt with your mech. But you can also holo taunt as well, and have little holograms taunting your opponent as well. Got a large variety of them, so it's all good. Paint patterns. Now there are a ton of paint patterns available of all different types. I'm currently donning the alpha coat because I was in the alpha and the beta of Hawken, and so you can probably tell why I love this game so much. And also you can check trim lines, you can also set it so you can have trim lines on very specific components of your mech. You don't necessarily need them everywhere, I just like them everywhere. And last but not least, we have the optimization window. Now if you're a fan of League of Legends or any MOBAs or things like that, this would look very similar to that kind of style. So as you can see, every time you level up to a maximum of 25 points, you can put these points into offense, defense and movement to basically passively increase your mech's damage, defenses, movements, rate of fire, all that good stuff. And this really helps you help with the build order or help with the playstyle that your specific mech wants to go down or that you want to go down as the obviously pilot of your mech, which is very good. In this case I just have this guy on the offensive because why the heck not, we all love explosions. Who doesn't? So with all that aside and us looking at the customization options, I think it is about time that we look at the mech store quickly. Now the mech store, this is where you can obviously buy mechs outright. You can buy them with meteor points or you can buy them with Hawken credits. You gain Hawken credits by just playing the game in general, by killing people or just participating, capturing objectives and also taunting people, and many other things as well. In this case, for example, we can buy the Technician and a wad of other classes. There are tons, mixing from light all-purpose vehicles such as the Technician, the Berserker and the Reaper, all the way down to the heavy boys such as the Rocketeer, the Grenadier, and everyone's the most popular pick of the moment, the Brawler. Oh my days, these things look amazing, and yes, they are just as powerful as they look, trust me. They look absolutely nuts. So, without further ado, we've looked at what goes in behind the scenes of Hawken. Let's put this to the test and get into some playing. Now I have to say, the tutorials are actually really well done. You can either have a walkthrough where it just guides you through the entirety of everything Hawken has at the garage, You can also do a training mission in order to set yourself up for the game, and that training mission is very well constructed and holds your hand very well. And then you got little videos that help you out with certain match types, such as Siege and Missile Assault, for example. But we are going to do something else. Oh yeah, this is Layla. Layla is the character that helps you out in the game for when you hit certain milestones in your game, and she's also the tutorial NPC as well, which is very nice. And I'm now cleared for all combat modes, which are amazing. One thing that I do love about Hawken, look at this. You can filter for basically any area you're in, from the USA, US West, US East, UK, Oceania, Asia North, Asia South, or just looking at the custom servers, which is incredible. And you have 4 game modes at the moment. We have Team Deathmatch, which needs no explanation there really. Missile Assault, which is where you have to capture and defend 3 locations to attack the enemy team's base and destroy it. Siege, which I haven't tried out yet, which is currently in alpha, where you have to collect energy units to launch your battleship at the enemy base and destroy your enemy base with the battleship, which is quite cool. And last but not least, Classic Deathmatch, because who doesn't like killing each other? Seriously, we love it! And so, with all that to one side, let's jump into a Team Deathmatch. And let's get into the nitty and gritty of the game itself. Here we go, we're going into a match, and we're going into the Bazaar, one of many maps they do have for Hawken. The maps are really big and really, really cool. And this is your loading screen before you launch into the match. I'm going to launch in as my Grenadier, also known as the Belial Buster, to start things off. And let's see how well I do. So as you can see, it's in first person, and the greatest part of it all is you can see the inside of your mech, and everything here has a purpose. Everything on your HUD has a very big purpose indeed. Now I'm going to go over here and check on my teammates, and I'm going to transform! Because this is one of the special forms that this mech can do. Because this mech is a heavy class mech, I can actually transform into a tank mode, which makes me more tanky than a regular mech. So I can help out with dealing damage, but my maneuverability goes down. Whilst in this case, I can move about much easier, but I'm not necessarily as strong against things as I would normally be. So the combat is actually pretty fast. Like, if you hold down shift, you're able to dash, and you can dash left on the fly, you can dash right on the fly to dodge. If you hold shift and go down, or you can just immediately flip around. It's very nicely balanced there, and as I'm presenting this, I am getting shot at, so I think it's worthy time to transform and roll out. And yes, this is a game where you can use that as an excuse, which I think is absolutely great. I'm going to hit them a few times, do a bit, blow some bits up in his face. Ah, and I got shot down, damn it. The problem with the Grenadier is that the Grenadier is mostly used as a position countering mech, rather than an all-out go out there and deal damage mech. The faster mechs seem to do a much better job when it comes to that.